Can everybody make sure your mics are turned on? Okay. So let's start with 2.0 communications and presentations. 2.1 requests. Is there any requests from anybody wishing to speak? Tanya?
I haven't had anything.
Anybody online? No. 2.2 full faith and credit project report. Are there any questions? 2.3 enrollment report. Any questions? 2.4 new principal introduction.
We have some new principals here today. So I would love to introduce to the board the following principals. Our new South Middle School principal, Matt Montgomery. Go ahead and stand up.
Welcome.
Our new assistant principal at Grants Pass High, Scott Wakefield.
Welcome again.
And our new assistant principal at North Middle School, Sarah Kagaris. We're glad you're going to be with us and excited for the opportunities that are before you. So very cool.
Thank you all for saying yes. Some of you are moving your families here. All right, 2.5. Looks like out-of-state travel. Are there any questions? Honoring for 2.6, honoring former superintendent Steve Iverson.
Well, I had like a ghostwriter for this, but I want to mention some things about our former District 7 Superintendent Steve Iverson, who passed away peacefully with his family by his side on February 11th this year. Steve joined District 7 as the Director of Curriculum and Instruction in 1995, became the Personnel Director and Assistant Superintendent in 1998, and then became Superintendent when Kerm Bennett retired in 2002. Steve served as superintendent for 8 years before retiring in 2010. During that time, Steve had a significant impact on the lives of the students, staff, and families of our district. His leadership was critical in helping the district navigate the significant fiscal challenges presented by the recessions of 2001 and 2008, working hard to keep people and programs in place. Most of all, Steve was much beloved by those he worked with, and for always maintaining an open door to anyone wishing to meet with him. The time spent and memories made with those who knew him will be missed most of all. A community memorial for Steve is scheduled for April 19th at 1 p.m. at the Grants Pass High School Commons.
We have a certificate here for Steve's family. I just want to say that when I was a first-year superintendent in Falls, Steve went out of his way to make me feel welcome and a part of the superintendent community, and I appreciated his friendship and his help, especially navigating the Great Recession and all that sort of stuff. So I miss him. So thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Do you need a Kleenex?
Consent agenda. All of them can be taken with a single motion.
Member Schmidt moves that we approve the consent agenda.
Member Smith seconds.
Second, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Tanya?
I'm gonna start with Member Sable.
Yes.
Thank you. Member Dibdall.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Yes.
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 Member Wolf.
Yes. Moving on to report, North Middle School presentation, community engagement.
Good afternoon. Thanks for, oh boy. So fumble.
Thanks for having us present this evening.
I'm not going to talk for too long, but just wanted to introduce some of our students and our board report for this evening about community engagement. And so the next slide. Do I do that?
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Oh, the clicker.
There we go. Community engagement is one of our strategic initiatives within the district, and we have said, and thankful for the guidance that the school board has given. We will promote and increase community engagement, partnerships, and support. One of the objectives within that we'll speak to, that our students will speak to tonight, establishing new and strengthening our existing community partnerships. So the partnerships that we have at the middle school level in our district, we partner with Oregon State with our Smile Club. A lot of our elementary schools partner with the Smile Club as well. Our local ESD down in Medford offers some opportunities for our families and our students as well. And then one of our very local organizations, Project Youth Plus, is another community program that we rely on heavily to help keep kids engaged with school. Beyond that, one of our biggest ones that our elementary, middle school, and high schools partner with is Southern Oregon and their youth programs. And so that's what a lot of our students tonight will talk about with our academics and competitions, our cultural identity programs that are available to our students and families, and some of our summer camps. I've talked for longer than I thought I would, and so I'm going to introduce our students, and then also very thankful for the families that have come as well. We have 7th grader Sophia, and then 8th grade students that I'm pretty sad and jealous of the high school that you get some great kids next year, Tia, Riley, and Sarah. So I'm going to turn it over to you all to do paper, scissors, rock for who's going first.
I'm first.
Looks like it's Tia.
Hello, my name is Tia. I am an 8th grader at North Middle School, and I'm involved in AVID and leadership. I've had the incredible honor of being involved in the Black Youth Leadership Summit for the past 3 years. This journey has truly shaped who I am as a person in many different ways. And I would like to share what the summit means to me and why we should keep things like this. First, being part of the Black Youth Leadership Summit has taught me how to lead with confidence, speak with a purpose, and connect with other Black youth. Some of the things we have done is talk about our struggles and what has happened to us as a Black student in Southern Oregon, learned more about Black history and Harriet Tubman, how our culture dances, or like what our culture kind of dance is, talk about our ancestors and learn some words in African like Zulu, which means go forward, and lots more. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Riley. I'm part of AVID and I am in advanced classes. I do track, color guard, and basketball. And I've luckily been able to do the Black Youth Leadership Summit 3 years in a row. I got involved first with the Black Youth Leadership Summit was because my principal, no, not my principal, my librarian, Miss Nika, like invited me. And it was super fun. I was like, I honestly got a lot closer with like people that I wasn't very close with yet, honestly, like Tia. And then I've also made a lot more connections that I definitely wouldn't have before because we all come from like a similar background and we all share some of like the same experiences without even realizing it. I've connected with my school more because of this, because again, I don't really go out of my comfort zone friend-wise, but definitely going has made a lot more connections. And I've gained a better perspective of my future because I know that anything's possible because of our past and there's a very bright future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Esme, and I'm an 8th grader at Grants Pass North Middle School, and I'm a part of orchestra, and I'm going to be a part of AVID. I'm involved with the Black Youth Leadership Summit and the Black Youth Summer Institute. I think going to the summit is important because it makes me feel welcomed into a community of people who look just like me. The Black Youth Summer Institute is also another large aspect of making me feel proud of myself and my Black African American identity. The Summer Institute and the summit both make me feel seen and understood. I think going to the Leadership Summit in February was a learning experience and it taught me more about my culture. I feel more educated about my history and the rights and privileges I have today. Because most of the privileges and rights I have today, my ancestors did not have. Did you know interracial marriages were not legal in the state of Oregon until 1951? This shows how united we have come as a society. Thank you for having us.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm in 7th grade and I'm involved with Project E Plus. I got involved with it when I transferred from my private school to public and I started talking to an advisor, and then from there, it's just been great. I like being a part of it because it makes me feel like I can reach all my goals and my dreams. I'm excited for all the camps coming up and all the opportunities I'll get in my future. When I'm older, it's helped me feel connected to school when I have to get good grades to go to certain camps, so it makes me feel motivated. It's helped me gain a better perspective in my future that I can do things through Project Youth, and I can do what I set my mind to.
Thank you all for the commitment that you offer our students. We know that when students have a sense of belonging, that they belong at our schools, they can do some crazy cool things. These young people have such bright futures ahead of them. I sneakily put some questions in front of you before the board meeting, and so they would be they're very humble people too. Some of these kids have set multiple school records. A few of them are heading down to Disney at the end of the week with their orchestra or color guard competitions. They're involved in a lot of great things, and these are kids that we love. Representing our school district. They represent themselves, their school, their families super well. Anybody have any questions for these girls?
I have a question for
Yeah.
Sophia. You mentioned some camps that you're looking forward to. Can you let us know what those are? Which one you're looking forward to the most?
And this where you stay there for a week and you get to learn about all the things that you want to do in college, and it just helps you gain a better perspective of what you're going to do.
Great.
Yeah, this is for Tia. You were the first one to speak, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to be moving into high school next year. Am I correct? Which means you're going to have the opportunity to make some choices about what you want to do in life. You're going to have a lot more freedom to choose your path and your direction. And you've had this kind of intense experience at North Middle doing what you're doing with this group. How has it impacted you in terms of your decision making about what you would like to do when you leave high school? Have you thought about that at all?
I haven't really thought about it. Girl, where are you trying to go to college? I'm looking forward to going to like UCLA or the California San Diego College.
Is there a specific kind of career you might be thinking about?
I'm looking into going into engineering, like
Good for you.
architecture and designing like that.
All right, get the girls in the sciences.
Yes.
Good job. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the questions. I'm gonna ask my own though.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I hope that's not offensive to anybody that might be prepared to answer specific questions, but so I heard a couple of things. I heard Black Youth Leadership Summit, and then I thought I heard Black Youth Summer Institute. Like, I'm not sure that I know the difference between those two things. Can anybody explain that to me? Whoever wants to answer.
We can. So the Black Youth Summer Institute is like what Sophia said, a week camp. Like at SOU, where you get to learn more about like Black African American culture and you spend time with other people. And it's very. And the Black Youth Institute Summit it's like a school day thing where it's a lot more people too, but it's like pretty much the same thing except it's one day. And various classes.
Got it. Okay, that helped. They sounded similar, but I was curious the differences. So thank you. Appreciate that.
How many of you have grown up in the Grants Pass area? All of you have. Okay, good. All right, thank you.
So the woman in the blue sweatshirt there, I think you haven't answered a question yet. So thinking about when you started at North Middle School and now towards the end of your experience there, what you know, you're wearing blue, so I'm assuming you're feeling very cavish. Um, how did these programs help you relate more to the community?
I feel like these opportunities have definitely made me more like confident and like more outgoing as a person. Like I feel more confident to like talk to different people and like just be myself, like, and understand that I have a lot more connections than I thought I did before.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'll just compliment you all and say you are all very well-spoken, good at public speaking, and that confidence is coming out even tonight. So thank you very much.
Good job.
We're gonna, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for making her answer the question.
That's great.
We're gonna take 4.2 and move it down. They're at a track meet, most of them, I believe. And so when they show up, we will pop into that one. So moving on to financial report, Sam. Oh, wait, he's not even.
I think it's a leadership one.
Okay, there we go.
Good evening, everyone. Wait for those a little bit more here. Our financial news continues to be positive. We're well within budget. Our revenue is about right on. We're still seeing lots of savings in a variety of places. The home stretch can be interesting because a lot of activity does happen in the last 3 months of the year. And, but we have a good feeling of what it's going to look like, and it still looks like a positive year as far as being within budget. Our current projected ending fund balance is just about $8 million. And which is up a little bit. And then a box on the bottom shows our deficit spending, what it was budgeted at, and how we're trending toward improving that number. And we've made quite a bit of improvement. And expect to probably do even better than what we're seeing us here. Any specific questions? Any questions other than that? I don't think they have anything after that. We're good?
No
Thank
questions?
you.
All right. That was short and sweet.
Oh, yeah. I can only brag about how great it is.
So many times. Okay, 4.4 strategic plan update.
All right. Well, it's technology, so we're probably better if you did it quickly. Than 5 minutes quickly. So my Steve Iverson story, since it's behavior, like Tim, I got an opportunity to spend some time with Steve. Came to a meeting with Steve, I think a guy named John Higgins and a guy named Rich Ward. And on my way in, Steve was a little flustered. What's going on? I said, I asked that kid 4 times to move his car. I told him he couldn't park in that spot. I told him, I'm the superintendent of the school district. These are reserved spots. You can't park here. And the kid wouldn't move his car. He just kept walking away. Security guard came up, said, hey, you need to move his car. Kid went, turn around and move his car. I wonder what I'm doing here sometimes.
This is our.
People park in my spot all the time.
Sorry, Tim.
This year, and we're gonna kind of tag team this, but we do have sort of 5 areas we want to talk about. Our data dashboard that we created for the board to be able to see updates. How we've been doing calibration conversations and our data tracking, some conversations around some PD and some partnerships. Our director roadshow next steps, and some drugs and alcohol education. Probably should put that at offenses and education. So we're going to start with our board data dashboard. So you were sent in a link from Kristen with a password to be able to go in and see all the dashboard information to the strategic plan. This first one is around our room clears from the beginning of the year until now. We do not have Marches in there yet. They haven't reported on those yet, but you can see we're on a, other than Allendale kind of ticked back up again, we are on a decline in several areas, and some have had no room clears for several months. Questions about that? Yes, Chad.
Does that have anything to do with calibration or not?
I think yes, and it has a lot to do with just systems and routines in place. Kids are more familiar with what it is they're supposed to be doing. They've got a kind of better support system interventions in place the longer the year goes along.
Those has to do with placement, candidly, Chad. We have now 31 students who are involved in our Stepping Stones program. Whereas last year we had about 23 students at the top of our Stepping Stones program. So that comes.
Yeah, that might have been the answer, Michael. I was gonna say, generally speaking, how does this compare to last year, year before?
Well, remember, we didn't keep data completely last year, so this is our baseline year, so.
What do you
Guess
think?
last year was two room clears a month at every school, so we are down from that.
Yeah, okay, that's what I mean by generally, yeah.
We'll have really good data for you this time next year on how.
Yeah.
Our second one is around our 4 majors. When we came in September, whenever we presented, we showed you a lot of information about discipline. And after that show, we said, you know what we actually need to do is compare apples to apples to apples to apples. And so this is part of our calibration conversations and how things are being coded correctly in our system. And so we said these are our 4 majors, right? The ones that are handled by the principal or designee: defiance, disrespect, disruption, and non-compliance. So that's what we're calling the 4 majors. And then we've been tracking those month over month as well. So this will be our baseline year for how we're doing as far as implementing our systems of intervention as well.
Now I'm looking at Parkside. And just wondering, are you doing something to identify causes or?
Well, the behavioral person there used to be in the Marines. And then the one that Lincoln, that's just my mom.
Yes, actually, I mean. Yeah, I mean, they know, they're all individual stories.
Yeah.
Joe. So I mean, I think Parkside does a good job of knowing their individual stories. Parkside does a good job of having systems in place. Ironically, Parkside's got as many or more major flags as any other school. Yet when we went out and did the road show, some of the most complimentary comments about systems and things that we got back from the cars came from the Parkside.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is this, when I say I'm looking, could it be demographics? Could it be?
There could be some of that. They had quite a few kids move into the district that came in with some pretty high needs. So maybe, but their demographics aren't horribly different from a couple of other schools. I think the way they input things into the system as well. That's part of our ongoing calibration conversations as well.
Yeah.
Parkside is very, very good at documentation.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Very, 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 very good. So we have been meeting this year with teams of people, including our behavior intervention specialists, our principals, our literacy specialists, all kinds of people. And having those calibration conversations, determining what is a major, what is a minor, how are we tracking those, what are our definition agreements of defiance, disruption, and then also kind of talking about who handles what kind of discipline, if it's classroom managed or if it's office managed. And so those are a lot of the conversations we're having this year to try to get more alike than different.
So another major calibration we did it just last week, and Trish or Susan, you can add if I forget something, but transitions and making sure that we don't have students get lost when they move from elementary school to middle school or from middle school to high school. So we had a whole team of folks in this room talking about what are the important academic data that need to go from the 5th grade team to the 6th grade schools, and then what are the behavior data that need to go so that we can do the best job that we possibly can serving schools. So the behavior data that we came up, and also getting it calibrated so that, you know, there's 4 schools that go into South and 4 schools that go into North. And if each one of those elementary schools gives them data that looks differently, the middle schools go, woo! So trying to get some calibration around that. On attendance, we're gonna collect the number of discipline referrals, the level of behavior intervention that took place at the elementary, and then the behavior support plans that come from the elementary schools. And we're also asking the elementary schools to help us make some placement decisions. So for instance, at the middle school, we have academic tutorial, which is talking about organization, planning, doing some of those types of things. We also have a discovery class, which is more in terms of perseverance, how do I get along, doing more kind of a social emotional type of lesson with students. So we ask them, hey, you know these students better than we do. How can we best utilize the resources at middle school? So that's a big calibration that took place just last week. Anything I missed on that one?
You covered.
All right.
Joe.
Would it be fair to say that it's probably better to compare a single school against itself over time than a school against school, because they're different, they have different cultures in different schools?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Not just student cultures, but faculty cultures as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's probably what our drafts will turn into, will be more of school over school. We're still building things with life. Oh, sorry, Gabby.
I'm just gonna say, given our demographics, we really need to be able to compare school to school.
I think we'll do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but as far as like improvement over time, it's gonna be important that we look at the school compared to itself. Even cohort, how were they in 3rd grade now? How are they in 4th grade now? How are they in 5th grade? And district plan. It's important that we do both.
Is it a goal of the district that I'm sorry to keep, it's just interesting to me, okay? Is it a goal of the district to have diverse cultures in the various schools, or is it the goal of the district to be more alike school to school?
Yes.
Nice.
Depends on the thing you're talking about, right? Practices, probably a little more alike. People, absolutely more diverse.
So how we discipline, how we set things up, how we introduce things behaviorally, the behavior expectations, those types of things, I feel like we should be pretty tight as a district. Now, schools notice when they do their data teams, we have issues with students walking down the hall. How Redwood addresses students walking down the hall versus how Parkside addresses student behavior walking down the hall. That's a school thing.
Yeah, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I worked in some schools in New York City for a while. I worked at a midtown school that was kind of it was a public school, but it was more of a I can't think of the name of it, but it wasn't a charter school. It was a different name. And then there was another school more in uptown. If you went into the uptown school and you walked around that school setting, they were same district, but you walked around that setting, what you saw was almost regimentation. Okay, I mean, kids were just completely behaved. There was just nothing going on that you were even concerned about. Went to the other school that was down in Midtown and spent a couple of days there, and it was just chaos. Okay. But the interesting thing was the school with chaos had much higher learning achievement than the regimented school. And as I delved into these schools, what I was discovering was the regimentation was stifling creativity and stifling learning and collaboration and all that kind of stuff. I could talk to you more about that, but that's what I mean by cultural differences. Do you see cultural differences like that? And
Absolutely, I mean, Riverside is different than Parkside. Riverside's different than Redwood. Lincoln has a different culture than the other schools as well. They each have some individual culture. We try to have high expectations and similar expectations at all of them, but yeah, their cultures are gonna be different.
okay, magnet school, that was the word I was talking about. Okay.
So
Yeah, Debbie.
it's my understanding that especially in the elementary level, there's a lot of mobility in the students. They'll go to one school for a couple of months and they go to another school for a couple of months and then change another couple of times. Are we keeping track of that mobility at all? Or does that have an influence on outcomes and behaviors? You know?
Haven't kept track of it, but I think overall,
We have a mobility report that we share with you guys annually. So
That's-
mobility is tracked. There's a state system for that.
but the
Probably why
correlation
healthcare-
between behaviors, I haven't tracked that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Right.
Whether,
Yeah.
I haven't tracked whether mobility is, if there's a cause and effect relationship with the mobility versus behavior, but I would guess that there is at least some, yes.
And it's definitely something as teams are meeting for individual planning meetings or SSTs, depending on the level. That's part of the conversation they have with parents too, if kids are struggling, like, let's look at your enrollment, let's look at your, and it's like, let's look at behaviors and all those things. But it's part of conversations, for sure.
All right, professional development, we've been doing, knew the things that we've been doing. In our last presentation, we said that one of the recommendations we made is that other elementary schools explore the Belong Partner systems, and so that is happening. Allendale has sent a team to the Belong Partners. Riverside has sent some people to the Belong Partners, and Parkside has also begun actually working with the Belong Partners with data teams and that kind of stuff. So more consistency. And again, Joe, part of their focus is, yeah, we're going to do this and the system's similar, but then how you address things within your school and in your culture, your school helps decide something.
Yeah. I guess I would just hate to see us get too bogged down in stifling behavior by overreacting, I guess is what I'm saying.
I don't think we're there yet.
Okay.
PBIS, RTI systems, so we're sending two sets of teams, one on the academic side of the world with Susan and Trish, one on the behavior side with Danny. So Dustin, the PBIS systems that you saw at the school board, we're going to the PBIS conference. We have 19 of our behavior folks attending that conference later in April. That is not a district expense through general fund. It is something that is paid for from our safety grant Title IV. So we use those funds to do that this year. We did a survey asking all of our staff, hey, what else do you need in terms of training for professional development? There was a rumor that, and this is a funny rumor, you guys will get a kick out of this, that Danny and Tim were tracking IP addresses so that we could determine who was saying what on the various surveys.
Wow.
So Tim is still
You got
working on
time for that?
tracking his first IP address.
I don't even know what an
We
IP
did
address
a little show, and you didn't man the clickers very well. That rumor got subsided, and so we're gonna resend that survey and see if we can get a few more responses.
We are collecting information about who's doing what, but it's more around differentiation of instruction and professional development. If 50% of the staff at Redwood say they would like this kind of professional development, but Parkside has a different choice. We want to be able to tailor our professional development to the needs of those teams within the schools. So, but it is funny that they thought it was you two.
I know. We were the most likely to, I guess.
I'm trying, it's not
Advancing.
advancing.
Yeah. And this is the big part Joe's been waiting to see too.
Can you go one more?
We need.
Still no. Whoops.
So the Director Roadshow, Ryan stops and put together a schedule for us, and we visited every school in the district. Talking about the strategic plan and a couple of key areas in the strategic plan. We talked about the discipline things, and then we also talked about academics, excellence, and the strategic plan piece. And so, Gary, you'd be very proud, artificial intelligence. So we took cards at every school and asked them, what are we doing well? What things do we need to work on? And not just like the district office, but as a universal us, what do we need to do to improve things? And so we got hundreds of answers. We put that into AI and said, please, make us a list of things by themes. We said, take these themes, give us the top 3 things that we're doing well and the top 3 things that we need to improve. And so this is the results from that roadshow. Yep. Well, let's go back to what we do well. So what we do well, building relationships. People said they're pleased with where we're at with intervention, support, and systems, or at least on the road to that. They like that there's proactive behavior tracking and that we're working on alignment. Things to do next, continue to work on consistency, things that are effective, work on accountability. I think candidly, when they say accountability, one of the big things with accountability was how do we hold parents more accountable too, or how do we help hold parents more accountable for both behavior and attendance was probably bigger than anything else in terms of accountability that they asked for. Enhanced and expanded tier support systems, that's things like the stepping stones to discovery classes and those types of things. And then staff training and awareness, and hey, help us know when we're part of the behavior triggers that are taking place. We don't want to be behavior triggers for kids, so to give us some training in how we avoid doing that. So we will do those things.
About the roadshow?
No, I think it's an excellent idea. Thank you guys for going out and tapping into their staff.
Could you
All right,
back
drug and
up
alcohol, Joe.
back
Here
up
we go.
one
Okay,
again?
Joe, which one?
What is the next? Now you have the answers, okay? AI has given you some answers. From a broad perspective, consistent, effective accountability. What's the next step now that you know the answer?
Looking at what staff development should take place. So we'll continue, we will continue doing the consistency thing and refining our tiered support systems and those types of things. But the staff training thing, this is one piece of it. The other piece of it is that survey that we sent out to staff, where they really say they're asking for things is how to de-escalate situations. So they want more training in how to de-escalate things. There is a parent presentation that Annie Blanchard and Missy Fitzsimmons do that's been really, really well received. But there are 4 modules within that fit well with a staff too, and how to de-escalate kids and how to set the stage for behavior and things like that. And so I think our next step is to incorporate those 4 modules into our training. Because remember, we trained the whole district in basic de-escalation strategies. What we're hearing is we want more of them. So that's the next step. All right, here we go. Unfortunately, South had a much better year last year. Sorry, Robert. But yeah, you got it. One to fill. I can read it. Okay, so this year, we were tracking the number of alcohol incidents, the number of drug incidents, and the number of drug paraphernalia incidents. So you can see at Grants Pass High School, there has been 5 alcohol, so forth and so on. At North Middle School, the number of incidents there. South Middle School, 11 drug incidents, 2 paraphernalia. GHS, Gladiola High School, 10 drug incidents, 2 paraphernalia, 3 alcohol. And you can see same thing at GP Flex. Those are students attending. We're not tracking them down at home on video or anything, but the kids that are actually coming onto campus. Compared to last year, very similar numbers at the high school, reasonably similar numbers at North. South actually had no incidences recorded last year, so there were -11 on that side. Gladiola High School is down from 23 drug incidents to 10, and then GP Flex is similar. So if you look, add them all up together, we're about 6 more total all combined this year at this time than we were last year at this time.
When you look at these incidences, are you talking about in school or are you also talking about at events as well? Like, for example, at a football game or a,
Anything school related, yeah, so if like a dance. One of the ones at the high school we know was at a dance. At a football game, yes, on a bus, anything that's school sponsored, we count those in.
I'm gonna just go out on a limb here. One is too many. But I'm looking at the enrollment at Grants Pass High School. And I'm comparing it to schools that I've known over the years. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I hope South's an anomaly this year, you know, compared to things we've seen in the past. Looks like an anomaly, but we'll know. Chad, do you have anything?
I'm curious, is there anything that we've done different this year from disciplinary standpoint or to encounter, especially alcohol? We went from 1 to 11 instances across the district. Anything different?
Nate, guys, I don't think we've done anything differently. I think it's just, you know, what I've seen now, Chad, over however many years I've been doing this, is marijuana seems to be relatively constant. Drugs of choice seem to change between like prescription drugs, where kids are telling their brother and sisters Adderall or Ritalin and that kind of stuff, to alcohol. I'm hoping it's not, but it does look like there's an uptick in the number of alcohol as the drug of choice. So,
Yeah, just curious, because I know last year when we looked at it,
as
most
Ron
of the
said,
problem issues were all marijuana related for the most part.
yeah,
and so that was just interesting to see the change.
Discipline is we're doing more education, more contracts, more tightly involved with juvenile justice to make sure that we're trying to keep kids in school as much as possible, as opposed to moving them out of school. We found that was highly ineffective. And the juvenile folks would tell us that was highly ineffective.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Cassie, can I be real unorthodox here?
You're gonna do what I was already gonna do, so go,
Maybe I am.
do it.
Okay. We have some students here. Okay, I'd like to ask you guys some questions. Okay. Let me start with you. You had the, right there with the hat on. You had a big, what's your name?
Mason.
Mason. I'm Joe.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. When you're in school and you're attending your required courses and that sort of stuff, are you taking courses or having experiences where they talk about drug and alcohol use?
Depends on the class.
What kind of classes do you hear in? Pardon me?
Wellness.
Wellness. Okay. Is that a semester class? Is that, what year,
I think in the semester,
what year did you take it?
sophomore year.
Sophomore year? You're a senior now?
Yes.
Okay. Were you going to school next year?
I'm doing it.
Good for you. Okay. And you right here, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay, you ready? What's your name? Ayla?
Eileen.
Kylena, nice to meet you.
Okay.
Kylena, nice to meet you. I'm Joe. How do you feel the health of the student body is in terms of drug and alcohol use?
I think they do a pretty good job on keeping it like on track and
Yeah.
understanding it. I know, like over break, over summer, they like put in fake detectors. So I think they do a pretty good job on like keeping it.
Okay, okay. He's got his eyes looking down because he doesn't want me there. What's your name? What's your name?
Hector?
Hector? Do you ever feel peer pressure? Did you feel peer pressure while you've gone through school?
Yeah, my beginning years, like my freshman year.
Freshman year? From older students or students your age?
Students my age.
Students your age? Okay, has that diminished as time's gone on?
Definitely.
Definitely.
In my opinion, I think so.
Okay, great. Let's see, there's somebody writing over there. He's writing, so he's really hoping.
Taking notes, taking notes.
What's your name?
Andre.
Andre? And you senior, Andre?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Joe. How about you? Did you feel much pressure here?
Not really,
No,
you know,
you been here since in high school since ninth grade?
this is my second time here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was here my sophomore year, and then I left and I'm back here.
Where were you when you left?
In Valley.
Okay, what was the comparison?
Okay, there's definitely less,
Here,
not in Valley,
there was less
like, less,
pressure?
yeah, because there's no off campus there,
Yeah, okay,
really, so like,
okay,
you have to kind of stay. at school.
gotcha,
Yeah.
okay, that's a good thing to know. Thank you, guys. That was great.
Just kind of in trouble with all his friends. Jeff. Good job.
Great job.
Thank you. That was great.
You guys were terrific.
You what?
You were just killing it.
Oh, sure. Let's go.
That was a great job.
Is that why they weren't up there?
Yeah. I'm gonna circle back to 4.2 Grants Pass High School Student Leadership Presentation. They're here now.
Hello, my name is Aaron Matthews, and along with Sarah Craven, who is coming in just a moment, we are the leadership advisors at Grants Pass High School. So for the past probably year and a half.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura. So for the past year and a half or so, we have been having our student council, so the representatives of our 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and then we also have all student body representatives that represent the whole school. We've been having student council meetings each month, and when we have those meetings, what we do is we have been inviting not only our own administration, but administrators from the district office. And it's been really great to have this partnership because we have created a lot of relationships where our students get to talk directly with Superintendent Sweeney, directly with our administrators, directly with directors at the district office, and be able to share exactly what is going on at the high school, things that they think are going really well, things that could be improved. And we're really proud of that. And so we brought some of our students with us today to share a little bit about where we are at the high school in terms of our culture and We Are GP. So they're going to introduce yourself, but we're going to hear from our president. So our ASB president, Kate Galley. So she is the president of our whole school. Cindy Craven, who is our senior class president. Lauren Pratt, who is our junior class president. Jordan Rosetta, who's our sophomore class president. And Zella Cottle, who is our freshman class president. So I'm going to step out of the way and let them talk to you for a second. Then Ms. Craven will finish up. So Kate, you are up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kate Galley. As Mr. Matthews just said, I'm the ASB president at the high school. And as the ASB president, the culture we're building at our school is really a top priority for, I think, for all of us. And so we as student council are going to be talking about We Are GP and that what that means to all of us and how that's going at our schools. And I think that means to me and to us working to build a tight-knit community where everyone has a place where they feel like they fit into that. So something that we've talked about a lot lately in our leadership class and in our student council meetings also is to make sure that students that are coming to our school every day feel not just welcomed, but invited to be involved in things and invited to come to school every day and be a part of the family that we're building. So us as student leaders try our best to make this happen for our school and have also experienced this feeling ourselves in a variety of ways. So we are going to share about our experience about that on a couple of the different pillars of We Are GP.
Hi, my name is Cindy Craven. I'm senior class president. It says welcoming on there, but I was talking with Mr. Matthews this morning and we switched it up. And I'm going to be talking about the E in the pillar, so being enthusiastic. Over my past 4 years at the high school, I've, alongside all of these people, worked really hard to show people that they have passions and that there's something at the school for everyone and that there's something that you can be excited for at school, whether that's being involved in sports, whether that's being involved in a performing art or in a club. There's something for you at the school that you should be excited for and that we should be building up other people to be excited for. So some ways that we do that in leadership is we have a video segment on our video announcements called The Cave, where we highlight sporting events that are coming up for the week, performing arts events, so like that would be theater, choir, band, orchestra, etc., and different clubs. Also, for example, we have a choir concert tonight, so making sure not only that the students that are involved in choir are excited to perform for their peers, but that peers are excited to go watch their peers excel and watch them do what they're good at, and that really kind of fills in with the rest of it. So whether that's sports or performing arts, so just making sure that everyone at our school is excited about what they're doing.
Yeah, so my name is Lauren Pratt. I'm the junior class president, and I'm speaking on how I feel like our students are becoming more persistent through opportunities given to them at the high school. I'm not bragging, I promise. I just do a lot of stuff. I'm like the poster child for doing like everything. Like I do orchestra, cheer, track and field, and then I have a ton of AP classes, and I try to like work on top of it. Like even after this, I have to like run home and carpool my sister to orchestra and then work on my AP stuff. But I really appreciate the way that I always feel supported in everything I do. I feel like I'm able to go to teachers and say like, I'm struggling with this, or I'm like feeling super anxious about this, and they're able to like support me and like help me get through that. And also through all of the different things that I do, I feel like I gain tons of experience in like being a leader and like learning how to deal with stress. And I think that's important as we like grow up and turn into adults that are in big job fields, that it's important that we're given those persistent opportunities. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jordan Rosetta. I will be talking about the G on the pillar, gratefulness. And I think as a school, one thing I've noticed is like, for me, I eat school lunch every day. And so going through the line and seeing people say thank you to our cafeteria workers who are there early in the mornings, preparing food. And I think for me, that's been a big change from last year to this year. I also thought about our Teacher Appreciation Week. Our teachers do so much for us, and us as the students being able to recognize them and thank them for what they do means a lot.
Hi, I'm Zella Cottle, and I'm the freshman class president. And I'm talking about acceptance. It's not just a word we say, it's something we strive to exceed and do every day. And as students, we come from all different backgrounds, beliefs, experiences, and we share that common goal of creating a school and community where everyone feels welcome, respected, and safe while learning. And the best part is that it's so easy to get involved here, and there's something for everyone. Whether that's through athletics, like I've done swim, I'm currently playing tennis, or clubs like I'm in Key Club, Mock Trial, or Brain Bowl, or through just events and daily interactions, we work hard to make sure that every student knows that they belong. I have felt accepted, safe, and supported in so many different activities and like opportunities through this school. One of my first personal experiences with feeling accepted was through the Grants Pass High School marching band. Starting high school is always nerve-wracking, but already establishing relationships in marching band before school even started really helped me feel accepted. And we support our peers, whether that's cheering them on in athletics, recognizing academic achievements, or just being kind in small, simple ways. Our relatively new use of the 5-Star app also helps students and staff like know the events that are going on and recognize them, and helps keep track of attendance at each one. When people feel accepted, they can thrive, and they're more willing to get involved and to grow to be the best version of themselves. And thank you again for supporting our school, and we're proud of the community that we're building here at Grants Pass High School, and keep moving forward together, so.
Question.
So,
Oh, sorry.
I don't have to.
Oh, I just was curious, do you know how many students have downloaded the 5-Star apps?
So I'd have to check our current data. It's over 50% of the students, the last time that I checked, so, but I haven't looked at the data in the last month or so.
Okay, I was just curious, thank you.
Yeah. This group of students, they are so wonderful to work with, the passion that they have for people that they know, for people that they don't know. It's been a joy this year. So last spring, we decided, we partnered with the district for the new VR mission and vision statement. And this was kind of the people who said, hey, we're gonna show this to you first, and then we're gonna run with it. And to watch the way that they have run with it has been really exciting with each of those different pillars. Furthermore, they want to do more. So when they said, we are representatives of our student body, but we don't always know what that means. Like, I am president, vice president, secretary, that's just like, what is that for? So when we worked with Principal Napier to invite Superintendent Sweeney and Director Evans and anyone from the district office, Cantola and Ryan, all to our school board meetings, I got to watch the students become impassioned and realize, well, we can now help to make change because we've got these great people. So to spend an hour a month with the superintendent and these directors of our curriculum and instruction has been very empowering for our students. So I want to thank them as well for taking the time out of their days to meet with the students that they lead and serve as well, because that's been a huge impact for our students. And I think it's seen throughout all of our students at Grand High School.
Excellent.
Any questions you guys would like to ask for our students?
Joe's full of it tonight.
Joe's on fire.
Aaron, I think you and I had a visit about a year and a half ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we talked about fundraising. Couple of questions. Do you guys have any kind of school-wide gatherings where you get to celebrate your successes together that bring the entire student body together?
Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, we have assemblies where we've really created a divide in our assemblies this year of what do we think of as an assembly where we're getting information out. So like that would be like talking about the sparrow and things like that. Whereas we're cutting, also we have pep rallies where we're recognizing our specific sports as they're going away. And just creating that divide has helped to empower our students that like we're a school of different like empowerments. We're able to empower our sparrow. I know Kate works very closely with the sparrow, but we're able to empower, right now it's Tasha, as she's going through one of the hardest parts of her life. And we get to, at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, watch as our students stand together and uplift this girl as she's going through one of the hardest battles of her life. And then versus during pep rallies, we get to watch our athletes come on the floor, and we get to watch our band students come on the floor and play the national anthem for us, and watches, like I touched on earlier, watch them pursue their passions and get excited for that. So I would say assemblies is probably one of the biggest ones.
So I would agree, assemblies is where we do that the best, and that we have our whole school together, and Cindy did a good job of mentioning a lot of the different facets of it, but we have a different, not all of our school can fit in the stands in our stadium, so each assembly, we have a different group of students that get to sit on the floor to be recognized. So coming up is our spring sports assembly, so our spring athletes will all sit on the floor. At times it's been our club representatives or our band. We always try to have performing arts perform at our assemblies. We recognize the athletes of that season, as well as whatever the case may be, like normally at the last assembly of the year, like Skills USA has just gotten back from their competition, so we'll recognize the winners from Skills USA. So we do that well with assemblies. We also do that well with our video announcements. So we have weekly video announcements where we recognize students and staff for their achievements. Cindy's in charge of a committee that their whole job is to kind of promote the different things that are going around on campus. And Kate's committee is all about service. So they are looking to they provide all the service events around our Sparrow, as well as the different things that we do for our staff and our students at our school. So we have different examples in media, but also when we meet as a whole school.
Do you have a leadership lab of any type where you get together as a group prior to the school year and do a training of some sort?
Yes, so we have lots of stuff in August.
Yeah.
So many things.
Yeah, when did your school year start?
Yeah, we especially, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you got it. No,
So
actually-
especially this year, we had like our homecoming, which is, first big event of the school year was what, the second week?
Third week.
Third week,
Third week.
was the third week, which is like a lot sooner than it usually is, so we were at the school in August quite a bit this year, I'd say more than normal, like several different days where we were training for the freshman orientation day, where we get to introduce the freshmen to our high school and be super excited and show them and tell them all about it as us as students that have been going there a couple of years or more. And and just work on all of our events for homecoming, as well as get to know, the other leadership students in our committees, and we're gonna be doing the rest of the year.
We usually start in May when we select our leadership class for the following year. We have like a lock-in at the school for the evening to begin that, and then we go to a fall leadership conference in November.
Also, when you're mentioning training, we have an entire class that freshmen can take And that's where we like, it's called intro to leadership. That's where they're like given like opportunities to like figure it out, but at a slower rate. Like when we're in like high school leadership or like the upperclassmen, like we, like 5 people plan a coin drive and a coat drive. Whereas like in intro to leadership, like the freshmen plan a snack drive the whole class together. So it's easier for Mr. Matthews and Ms. Craven to kind of like guide them into that.
Yeah, and I was given the pleasure of helping and being a student aide and a student mentor. Yeah, with Zella. Zella was in that class. And I got to, as a senior and kind of on my way out, I was able to watch the next incoming class of freshmen develop their media skills and develop how they're going to become leaders in vital parts of our school and empower each other. So it's a pretty neat class.
Well, I've got to say that this is the best presentation by the leadership team that I've heard ever. And I used to hear one every month. So wonderful and be grateful. I know that the leadership team gives us gifts every year for School Board Appreciation Month. And I went to use my little notebook that you gave me in January, and my husband says, "Oh, you can't use that one for this application because it's too nice." But I thank you very much for your thoughtfulness and for the powerful presentation tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Wait,
Sorry.
Gary.
Mine's more of a question, related to, there are some issues that, you know, they're top down right now. The legislature is dealing with cell phone use in schools, but realistically, the students are going to have to buy into whatever happens, both at the state legislature or what this board does or something. Is that something that the leadership could work on for the culture of our school?
Yeah, so each month when we have our student council meetings, we have an agenda that we go over with Ms. Napier and plan out like, here are the topics that either from the district office or from the school administration or from the students, like these are the topics that need to be discussed and kind of create plans for. And so we've had things like cell phone has been in the past few years been on the discussion of, okay, how are cell phones going? What's the policy like? What's the success rate? So we've had those conversations in our student council meeting already. And yeah, we'd be happy to help with anything that we had to do to make our school better.
And even this year, like we worked to, we changed our cell phone policy a little bit, and there's already been dramatic changes within the school. And with not only like cell phones are off and away, but like they're like not seen and they're in backpacks, and there's already been changes made. So I feel like as we continue to work with you and as we continue to work with our admin, it's only going up from here.
I'd say on that note, the best thing, like as we have these relationships and these conversations with our administrators, that they hear from the students, like here's where a classroom where it's going really well. And then they're able to use that as a model. So like I know like in one of our student council meetings, they said, you know, this teacher does a really good job with cell phones. And then they were able to have that teacher present at our staff meeting to say, hey, here's how I do it. Here's how it's successful. And that all came from our students and then kind of turned into professional development for our staff.
Excellent.
All right, great. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
I just want to say something. It is wonderful hearing from you students, and it's wonderful hearing from you students. You guys represent your school really well. All of you do. The answers to your questions and the answers to the questions speak incredibly highly of what goes on in this district. So thank you for being so honest.
Yes, it helps us do our job better. So thank you. Thank you for answering honestly, Mr. HB. Okay, any other questions? No.
So at this time, I'm gonna let those of you that are in government class and those of you that have been speaking, go ahead and bail if you want. You can stay till the end. But if you are just come from track practice or you're just a standard teenager and you're hungry, there's lasagna in that room right there, and feel free to go grab a plate full, okay? All right, thank you all. Appreciate it. Anybody need signatures?
Before you answer, so thank you.
Make yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Very welcome. Let me do that.
I can't, that'll end the meeting. Then it's over. Almost.
I think you fill out your name.
Right down here, start right just
There,
down here.
that's you. Yep. So many notes. Nicely done.
There won't be anything.
It's all up here, right?
We need high schoolers here.
We're gonna pay attention to it, so I brought this.
Go get some food, guys.
There you go. You betcha.
Go.
Where'd you go for spring break? You got a little bit of a glow.
Right there, right to that door. Enjoy.
Okay. We are, so superintendent report,
So-
update on damage.
So, folks, as you are aware, we had some winter storms, not too long ago. We had some damage done to 3 of our schools, Lincoln, Redwood, and GP. Most of you saw last week during the budget or after the budget meeting, kind of got a look at what's going on at the high school. And especially room 228 was quite the MacGyvered together.
New pool.
It was, so.
Been on the list.
We call it a water feature.
Oh.
Yes.
So.
Nate Olson, our maintenance supervisor, is here to give you an update on what's going on.
Yes, as Tim alluded, the high school has been probably the most affected by the winter storms. Again, we've been battling roof issues in the library for a while now. I actually tried to make a repair, and then the winter storms came. I think the snow and everything. 228 all of a sudden went from never being a problem to a water feature, and it's continuing to get worse. As you can see, our MacGyver way of trying to at least not create any more damage, to be able to direct the water where we want, and then move it out, dump it out. Notoriously, it always seems to rain the hardest on Sundays, when nobody's around, so usually we have staff on the weekends that sort of constantly checking that to try to stay ahead of it. So yeah, unfortunately, right now we have probably 2 classrooms, 228, 225 that aren't used with the rain, just because of our beautiful water features. They don't want to be around, because they're still loud, especially when the water is flowing. So that's one of the things we got going on. Also, that's where on one of the wind days, big tree branch fell, landed on a staff member's car, and damaged another car. Luckily, nobody was around. We had a arborist come out the next day, came to did some trimming for us, and took care of it, so we're good to go there. Redwood, same thing on a Sunday. We've had, again, challenges with that roof as well. Had multiple contractors over the years trying to figure out why we have the roof leaks that we have. It all seems to be at the soft ends of all the building, the low end, so who knows where the water gets in. It's just always at the lowest point it comes out. Same thing as you saw at the high school, we MacGyvered some pans and some PVC pipe to, that way we're not ruining carpet, ruining ceiling tiles, things like that. To again, just be able to put it into a bucket, take it out. And Lincoln, similar as Redwood, given some of the Ferguson certificate schools, that they had the same issue with the same type of roofing. Luckily, the plan is to have all those roofs, new roofs put on this summer, and in hopes of solving all those problems as well. Other tree issues we had over those winter, Redwood, we had a tree come down, damage the fence a little bit, not too bad. Gladiola, had a bunch of those, what are they called now? Linwoods, that's not what they're called, anyways. With all the snow, they were falling onto the neighbor's property. Luckily, one of the neighbors called. We got out there pretty quick, took care of that without any damage, luckily. And then soon after, the wind came and blew, I think, 3 different fence panels down all along the south side of Gladiola. They were all owner responsibility, but we came out and helped them out just to maintain security, so we didn't have anybody else. Bless you. Keep security on the campus. Another fun one we had over at GP Flex on the very wet day. storm drains and sewer had so much water in it that we couldn't actually use the bathrooms at Flex because the water was so backed up. It wasn't going into the school, but the toilets were basically to the top as well as any of our clean outs. I called the city, I said, hey, if you drove by this new storm drain right here, on 8th, it was just gushing water, probably 2 feet high. I said, hey, you got any, I mean, obviously you have issues, is there sewer issues as well? He said, yeah. So can you help me out? He said, no. Basically, we have to just let it subside. I said, okay, luckily the district office closed, high school's closed, so we were able to send those kids that way. North, again, granite track with all that water, we don't know it has drainage issues. It always happens where every early spring we get out, drag the tracks, do the best we can to try to give them the best shape they can for the kids to practice on, and inevitably it always is a downpour soon after. This year we had so much water that we literally had canals. Barrett has a new road team out there, I think, was out there on the track, yeah. So we had to bring a bunch of, again, basically redo what we just did, bring some more granite in and try to level that out. Other than that, the other major, we have a few locations under the gyms where we have a lot of water, the gyms, there's a lot of water gets under those. For most, we have all the, North, one of them, Allendale has a really good one, but we have some pumps set up to kind of mitigate that. So luckily, I mean, most of the damage we've been able to kind of stay ahead of, and it's not been too serious so far, and again, our major roof issues should be repaired this summer, so hopefully that's.
I have a question. Is the roof failure, is that originally didn't the metal roofs fail?
They did
on
fail,
those
right?
three?
Not fail, but yes, we immediately found out that there were some issues, the way they set it up. And again, we've had multiple people come up, engineers come out, and it's like, we think it's this, but yes, they've always been a problem.
And we've never replaced those from the beginning.
No.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Till the summer.
It will, to be determined. Anybody else have questions? Wow, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the beautification of our buildings.
So, Danny, you're gonna talk about charter? Oh, no, we just charter school? Oh,
Oh, it's just a chart.
chart, there you go. Okay,
Chart for the chart. Where's the-
there you go.
That's
For
it.
some reason in my head, I had IDTs, charter schools.
Yeah.
That's next month, right?
Next month.
Okay, all right. So, these are the folks that are out of district by charter schools. So we're working on, so one of the things we do is whenever anybody leaves or wants to leave, we have Keith call them and talk to them. Try to bring them back to the district. We've had some success, especially in August, September. This time of year, there's oftentimes as much, hey, we want to go, and to be honest, it's like, yeah, we're okay with you going. So, but we also have people that want to come and join D7 as well. So it's still that push pull. But these are numbers that we're looking at and working on and trying to figure out how to get those numbers down. So.
Them?
Yes.
Or whoever, besides Logos, is there any other major players we're missing from this list? I know they won't give us their numbers, but.
Yeah, they won't give us their numbers.
Logos is the only one that won't give us them.
Right. I think we have everybody else.
Is
there a reason?
Because they're different, they're a different category than, they're under the umbrella of Medford School District. So they belong to Medford School District, and if they are not required to give us any information. I did ask multiple times and was told to even ask personally, and even the champion said, ask this person, tell them I'm telling you to ask, and I still never.
Right.
Just wonder why.
And so this doesn't include any homeschool.
No.
And do homeschool students have to register with ESD? Is there some way?
They're supposed to, yes. So we can get those numbers too, but not all of them do. So, but yeah, we can get those for you.
That would be an interesting note on the same report next year.
Yeah, can do that, absolutely.
Okay, needing a little more clarity. These are our students in all of these other.
Well,
These
some
are
of them
just the
have
enrollment.
never been our students. They've
Right.
never been D7 students, but they live in
But they're
D7
a
school
group that
district.
within our
Yes,
boundaries. Okay.
yes. Mhm.
Any other questions? Okay.
ARs to be deleted. We have those listed down there for you. Nothing too exciting there.
I just want to circle back to this. The way
Which one?
people talk this, I thought there'd be a lot more on this list. Than I've heard.
Well, that's why I said Logos is not represented there.
Yeah, but I mean, just with this number, I wouldn't. I think that their number could be, it's exorbitant, because I had imagined, we're not in our schools and doing other things.
They're homeschool groups.
Mhm.
They're kind of, I mean, little pockets of, you know, I got 10 homeschool kids in this co-op. I think they're called co-ops. There's a number of co-ops.
Yeah.
Homeschools around, it would not be charter schools, not
Okay.
listed up there.
Right. So,
I'm sorry.
no, that's all right. We just wanted to make sure you're aware of what's going on. Then wanted to let you know, because this kind of goes back to what Danny and Vanessa were talking about drug and alcohol use in the school district. We've had a partnership with the county, and Sean Martinez has been here a couple times and presented to folks. We've had a grant for to work with them. We were notified over spring break that grant was discontinued, and so that program has come to an end. So
What was the amount of that grant?
110,000. We were down to about the last 30, 20, 30,
32, we get half of that.
32.
Any
So,
potential replacements?
no, not at this time that we're aware of. So, okay. So that just, it was a 2-year grant, right? And this was the second year of it. So we're not gonna finish the last 3 months.
So there was kind of a class meeting or a class presentation, 8th grade class presentation. There's some follow-up stuff that was supposed to happen in the summer. We won't be able to do those. Josephine County is going to continue a school outreach officer a couple of days a week, which will still provide some tobacco vape prevention education at the school. So they're filling that piece in for us, not able to do the last couple of activities at the middle schools that the grant would have funded.
Well, it was ending
Yeah, it would-
this summer anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm just making you aware of that.
A one-time deal.
Yeah, it was-
Tam, this is Member Sable.
yes.
Hi, do we have some data or information on the results of that grant program? You know, how many kids it touched? Maybe some success or just production information?
Not in front of me, I don't. We might be able to dig something up for you, but it will take us a few days to do that.
Okay, so I guess I'm gathering that funding is just coming to an end and there's not going to be any future grant for that specific program. Is that what I'm hearing?
We are not aware of any future funding for that program. That was a federal government grant. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
yep.
Thank you.
and you bet. Before I finish up here, a couple other things. We found out this morning that Head Start is laying off half their staff in Southern Oregon Head Start, right? That will impact the program at Grants Pass High School. If they do not have funding by April 18th, the entire program in Southern Oregon Head Start will, April 11th.
This Friday.
Oh, if they don't have it by this Friday, all funding, everybody gets laid off. Right now it's half.
No, my understanding and the board.
They notified 244 employees, which is half of all of Southern Oregon Head Start employees. That effective Friday, they will be laid off if the federal funding comes through by
All right, and there was,
There
and,
isn't an indication yet that all of them will.
okay,
That's what they know.
But it will
As a-
impact, I did get confirmation, it will impact our Child Development Center at Grants Pass High School. Both the early Head Start side and the Head Start side.
okay. So just wanted to be aware of that. And so I'm always the bearer of good news at these meetings and I always enjoy that, but so I'm gonna change things up tonight a little bit. I've asked Trish to just share a few thoughts on the day before spring break. We held a professional development day at Grants Pass High School or morning. And it was an amazing success and I've asked Trish to just share a few thoughts with you.
Stand up for a second. Thanks. Thanks for letting me share with you. We were pretty excited. And I think about some of the conversations we've had with the board about leveraging off of our experts. We have teacher leaders who do this job really well and we can learn from each other, gain knowledge from each other. So there were about 40 different teacher leaders from around the district who led little mini professional development sessions. They were about 1.5 to 2 hours long. They varied from sessions related to social emotional learning, to the arts, to vision training, how to read music faster and how to comprehend faster. There were lessons on Avid. There were so many good things that our teachers put together. The day started with a great breakfast, which that camaraderie, I think about the kids exemplifying We Are GP, having our staff come together, share breakfast before that event. We got a lot of positive comments about that. And then the sessions, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. We had teachers saying, could we please continue to do events like that? They were able to kind of choose their own adventure, what would serve their needs. And then the afternoon ended with some prizes for folks. So all in all, it was a really positive event and something we look forward to doing again in the future.
Thank you. All right. Any questions?
What kind of prizes?
Wow. Yes, we took some of our full faith and credit funds and we bought brand new classroom furniture for one teacher at South. Well, it was random drawing. Teacher won it. So new student desks, new student chairs, new teacher desk, new teacher chair. That was the grand prize. They were pretty excited about that. Yeah. So
You have to be present to win.
had to be present to win. Because that can be a day where people might take a personal day. And so you had to be there, had to go get breakfast and fill out a card and put it in the bucket. So, yep.
So if they had a fairly good classroom full of furniture, did somebody else get theirs?
Yes, but fortunately we were able to, it was just so random that we picked someone that really needed some classroom furniture. So, yes. Mhm. Yep. Yeah. And then two teachers, one at the elementary level, one at the secondary level, won a brand new teacher desk and brand new teacher chair. So, right. Which schools got those?
We got the chair, Lincoln got the chair. We got the desk. No.
All right, very good. Okay.
Good.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a good day. Yep.
Okay. Community listening session for board reports and special concerns. Are we talking about what we want? Are we talking about community listening session?
No.
Are you
I'll wait.
guys want?
Yeah, let's talk first about community listening session. Are we wanting to have one?
I think
Joe
it's
would
al-
like
I think
one.
it's always a
Anybody
good
else?
idea. I think it's always a good idea.
I agree. Is there a certain format you'd like to discuss? Would we, which ones do we like? Which ones do we not like?
I've only heard board members say they want it. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, Cassie, this is Member Sable. you know, if it ends up being the format that we've done before, where we have some select people and we meet in the boardroom, just a thought. This is just an idea to banter. I'm throwing it into the mix. But I've had the opportunity over the last couple months to meet several former school members of District 7, some who graduated and actually a couple who didn't. And the stories that they had and the perspectives they had was very fascinating and telling and interesting, and some really neat success stories, and some other areas where maybe it seemed like they felt like they fell through the cracks or could have had more help. But it got me thinking about the idea of one of these listening sessions being, if we could get a hold of them, people who have gone through the school and are looking for work or still around, where we could listen to their experiences in District 7. So former students, essentially.
Okay. So far, that's the only one on the table.
I actually appreciate, and it can be difficult at times, but I enjoyed being able to share and answer questions in the fashion that we did last time up at the cafeteria. I know it can be a struggle at times, but I think it's worth doing. And I've heard positive comments about the fact that we do that. And I think if we slow down that process and we don't do it as often, or I think it hurts us more than it helps us.
So you're suggesting doing it more often?
Well,
or
continue doing it.
Continue to.
And I think that format is a good format. I see no reason. I shouldn't say I see no reason. I think it would be appropriate to do it again.
Okay.
I'd like to do it again.
Do we want a topic or we want to just leave it open? Last time we left it open.
That was kind of how I was gonna weigh in, is that if it's a specific topic, I don't like that format, in the sense that I'd rather all of us hear the same thing at the same time from whoever is speaking. So if we have a specific topic, I'd much rather have it be some sort of open forum. This isn't big enough, obviously, but something along those lines. But if we leave it open-ended, then I think that makes sense, because people can go talk to whoever they'd like to speak to. Give input or feedback or what have you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Joe's recommendation, I feel like we get a lot more open communication when we're in the cafeteria, small tables, and people, for whatever reason, just feel comfortable to talk. Some of our other ones have been very productive, but it's a little bit of an invite only. It's a smaller group, focused, and that's good. But to have the just the open invite, I think is helpful. I gave some feedback about students being there at the same time, so might want to
yes,
organize that or think about that.
I love the idea of students being there.
Yeah, that was fun last time.
I like the idea, but there was a couple challenges where some adults were
we're not in line.
I don't think
We're out of line.
yeah
Students.
being appropriate in asking students certain questions.
Yes. Okay.
I would just say that I agree with that. I like those meetings at the table, the open meetings where people can go around and just have discussion. I wouldn't totally give up on the idea of having some of those targeted invite feedback thing, it's more of a focus group, really, when we do it that way, as opposed to the open discussion at the tables. But
Okay. I mean, I think that we could, what I'm hearing is do an open community session, but maybe students is really the only subgroup that I think that we're hearing is students, past and current.
Well, when Nate talks about the past and the students that some graduated and some didn't, and I think that's a good idea. I don't know whether this is appropriate or not. I don't know whether it's even legal or not.
Oh,
But tonight made
we
me
doing?
think about this, and that is the idea of having a session where students,
yeah,
just students,
that's, yeah.
and have the opportunity to talk with just students.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
I could talk to Mr. Matthews about, Ms. Napier about.
Let's just
Working
randomly
on that.
raffle some out.
I bet if we offer him food.
Okay, regular board reports and special concerns.
Okay, I have a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, I wanted to, in this group, I want to thank Tanya publicly for all the work that she does and for the preparation, but also for being there when nobody else knows she's there and you have a question or you have a desire or a need. And when you know, you can feel real stupid when you ask some of these questions, and she never makes you feel that way. She gets the information to you as if it's just part of the job. And so Tanya, thank you for all your work. You do spectacular work. And I also want to thank a couple of staff members in particular, but well, one in particular right now, and that's Sam. Sam is the same way. When you ask for information, you get it. And he answered some really important questions for me this week, and I really appreciate that. And the last thing I want to mention is, get back to what we were talking about earlier with the meetings with students. For me, that's the most valuable thing, is to hear these kids talk. The leadership is terrific. It's great. It's wonderful to hear from leaders, but you're expecting to hear that, okay? But to hear from the kids in the front row here, in the second row, who were totally unprepared to be asked a question, and to be able to respond just like that was really quite remarkable.
So this young man in the front hasn't answered a question.
That's why you're late. What's your name?
I'm Ben.
Ben. You turning red on us.
I have a question. They asked him about his, what's the record for the 400 Grand Theft?
Oh, you know about that, 4888.
Oh, good for you.
That's me.
Are you state champ?
AAU I am.
All right, good for you. All right, 48's great.
Suppose that can get you out of a question. Good job.
But anyhow, Cassie, what I want to say is many times the opportunity to speak with kids, because that's really what we're here for. That's really, we're certainly here to support faculty and staff, but we're here for kids. And to be able to hear how they're doing is really important. I thought that young man's answer about the difference between here and Hidden Valley in terms of pressures he felt, and the fact that Hidden Valley, they don't leave campus. That's really the difference. And it relates to the question I was asking Danny: do these issues occur just in the school setting, or are they outside the school setting? And that's, you know, that's expected. Yeah. So thank you for bringing those kids in.
We didn't actually
That's
bring them.
government.
That's the government class. Sent them
They're
to you.
required.
Thanks to the government class for making them come. Even Ben, even though he was late. But he was running intervals. We know he was running intervals.
Joey had practice.
He was doing intervals. That's what I'm saying.
Ben, did you hear there's food next door? I think there's
Oh, yeah, there is food next door. In this.
lasagna.
You better get in there now or it'll be gone.
Oh, really?
Gary, was it you that had? There were a few hands.
Gary.
Yeah, I was just waving. I got nothing to know.
Okay. So I had a few questions to ask just to clarify some stuff. So Superintendent Sweeney,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know the policies for our schools at District 7 for sex education, whether they're opt-in or opt-out.
Sure. At the elementary schools, parents are required to opt their children into the curriculum. So we send a letter home or notification home to every parent, and if they sign that their child can participate, then they do. If they do not return the form or say the child cannot participate, then we give them a different activity to do while that's being discussed in their class. At the high school, at the secondary, did I say it wrong? Are you?
The fifth grade sexual health lessons and the fourth grade maturation lessons are opt-in. And the K-5 CPU unit, child protection unit, is, we send a letter home that says the exact dates that those are happening, because it's different at every school. And then parents, we honor all opt-outs, all questions about it. But per our guidance from ODE, it's not as specific.
Mhm.
Opt-in, like the sexual health lessons and the maturation. Maturation is also sexual health, but we call it maturation at 4th grade. And we do have a handful every year of the CPE that also opts out. We don't know all of those.
Then at the secondary level, it's an opt-out, and so parents are notified in the course curriculum. And do they sign the course syllabus, I mean?
So the syllabus goes
Go
home at the start of at high school at the start of the semester, and then as part of that syllabus, there's a section where the parents can opt their child out of that particular unit, and then there's communication that happens with the teacher as to what that student will do for that period of time. It's the same thing at the middle school.
So Susan, when you were speaking there, I think I lost track. Is there some stuff that's opt out at the elementaries?
Well, the sexual health lessons are opt-in. I just was clarifying that the CPU unit, the child protection unit, is I guess opt-in.
Communicated, right?
It's communicated exactly what dates those lessons are on with a link to the sample curriculum. And then we honor all and any requests to opt. But the sexual health lessons are a opt-in.
So it sounds like the other ones are opt out. Okay,
The CPU lessons, the
Okay.
child protection unit lessons.
so Allendale. Tanya, Raymond. The sex education at Allendale is opt-in. Is that correct?
The sex education for 5th grade.
Yes.
K through 5.
It's only at 5th, there's sexual health lessons at
5th grade. Would be opt-in. And then the CPU would be the lessons that we notify when it's gonna happen, the letter, and then we honor anybody that wants to not participate.
So that part's opt out.
Correct.
Okay. Island. Nevin.
Yes. Same for us, sexual lesson opt-in. CPU opt-out, honored working.
Okay. Lincoln. Ellie.
Yeah. They opt in and then opt out for the VP.
Okay.
Ditto.
Who's gonna answer differently?
Parkside. Rob is ditto.
Ditto, yes.
Okay, and I don't see Christine or Robbie.
Riverside and Redwood have their ready for K night, so their parent education night for kindergarten families is tonight.
Would they also answer yes?
Okay,
That is tight, Gary. Yeah, we're trying to that.
okay.
It's a district form.
Yeah.
I'll use the same form.
Gary's clearly on the record.
Well,
You have an agenda with this, Gary?
You're getting a scowl from
just
some people here.
making it very clear what the
How we operate in
policy
T7.
is at District 7.
It's required by ODE.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would do it anyway, but it's also law, so. We follow the law.
Okay. All right, that was it.
Okay, anybody else have any board reports and special concern?
Just since we're talking about it, the new standards, the newest standards for Oregon health education. Have we done anything with those yet? Or are we going to talk about those at some point in time?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, we had, like we do with all curriculum, we pulled a team together, representatives from every grade, every school. We reviewed the standards and then reviewed there's actually only one state approved curriculum, so I got samples of that curriculum. We approved or
Reviewed.
reviewed that curriculum. And then next month we'll do a presentation with the team overwhelmingly recommended it. The standards at elementary are actually very different than the current standards. Usually standards have like some changes, but for elementary health, they're very, very different. And in a way that we actually really are excited about and like. And so anyway, we reviewed the curriculum along with our presentation and recommendations, like we always do with parent advisory, and then to the school.
And for secondary, very similar, I think was asked last board meeting and I clarified. At our February Parent Advisory Council meeting, we had brought forward some health recommendations. Got some really great questions and feedback from that. The health teachers have been meeting subsequently since then, and we'll be bringing a different, not on the state approved list for middle school or high school, different textbook that we'll be presenting at Parent Advisory Council in May and to the school board as well. And then just, it will be on, we'll notify the public can preview the materials. For secondary, we have online links to the curriculum as well as a copy of each level in my office.
For elementary, it's not an online curriculum, so there won't be the links, but we'll have, like we do with other curriculums this year.
And I will say the standards are very different at secondary as well. And equally our teachers feel like it's a much more approachable set of standards for our community.
Much more well-rounded and what we traditionally think of health, circulatory system and hygiene and those sorts of things that were not a part of the standards we're operating under now. Those are all the things that are in the new standard. Just so you know.
Thanks for the information.
So I was thinking, but okay, what's been going on? And I thought, oh, the 15 theater kids went to state, and it occurred to me that there's a lot of things going on, including cookie judging.
Okay,
But,
I just want to say, as the first cookie was on its way to my tasting center, the board chair called me out and
I
said,
didn't call you out.
you called me to my office and I had to leave the cookie competition. It was a very sad moment, but my
Sorry.
friend Kristen brought me a plate.
Okay.
And I appreciate that.
But I do want to thank Superintendent Sweeney for the weekly updates and communications about what is going on in some of the, and I know Kristen does also the increased communication on the good things going on. And the wonderful opportunities our students are having and excelling in, and it's always fun to read. Envy over.
Well, don't envy too much. You didn't get to eat them.
I did.
Good.
A lot of really cool things going on.
Lots of cool.
Yep.
Can we talk about the semi?
We can talk about the semi. Do you want to talk about it?
No, but I need a new friend
Yes, you
in
did.
the owner of Dominion.
So, the band had a very generous gift from Old Dominion Trucking. New to us, but a used semi. Very excited because our old semi couldn't go into California because it did not meet emission standards. So this will allow us to be able to do that now moving forward. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but you have, and you have. So
We're
look,
very excited.
Yes.
It's green. We're gonna need to fix that.
we will fix that.
Okay.
Well, and the president of the band, Misty, really went to bat for the band and went, talked on the phone with the powers that be, and they said, well, we really don't give donations to your level kind of conversations, and she talked them into it. And they not only donated the vehicle, they put in thousands of dollars of repairs to make sure it was safe for the kids before they gave it to us.
When I was getting to know George on that Sunday afternoon, we did talk about a possible diesel program. Just saying.
Yeah, thank you both for going. I don't know if anybody else did, but I think that was awesome. I want to say $65,000 worth of truck and repairs, if I remember correctly, maybe more.
Sounds
But
about right.
It was not a small gift. That was awesome of Dominion and really cool of the boosters and the band to work all that out. So
Is it Jim that drives for the band?
And he
works for Dominion
Dominion,
as well, so that was that's a good community partnership.
yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
I would have been there, but it was my fantasy baseball
Well,
draft at that
totally
time. So there you go.
You told on yourself.
I was at.
Sunday.
Been there.
So, okay. We have reached the portion of our meeting where it's community comments. Do not see any, okay. So let's do action items 8.0. Second and final reading of policy IKJ, artificial intelligence. And can we just be safe tonight and take them individually? So we don't have to try to figure that out.
Member Smith moves that we approve 8.1, second and final reading, policy IKJ, artificial intelligence.
Sable seconds.
Having a second, is there any discussion?
Member Richardson moves to add second and final reading of policy IKF graduation requirements.
We already have a motion on the floor.
I know, but I moved to amend it.
You stinker.
Just.
Was there a second to Gary's?
No, it's
Turns out it's dying. Can you hear it?
Did I hear correctly? You were adding something?
I was amending this next one, but it died for lack of second.
Tanya.
Your mother.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like the end of a joke. Is there more?
Always appreciate Tanya's ability to read the room perfectly, represent us all. Thank you.
Sable,
Yes.
Member Dipple,
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yeah.
Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Richardson.
Yes.
Yes.
Member Wolf.
Yes. I'll be happy to take one motion on 8.2.
Be bold, Gary.
Second and final reading of policy IKF. Graduation requirements, we have them.
Member Smith moves to approve 8.2, second and final reading of policy IKF, graduation requirements.
Member Dibdall seconds.
Any discussion?
Boom.
Go. Let's go.
Member Dipple.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
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 Member Wolf.
Yes. 8.3.
Go ahead, Member Smith.
Member Smith moves to approve 8.3, approving Vitus for CMGC Redwood Seismic and GP High School roof projects.
Member Smith seconds.
Any discussion? Tanya.
Member Sable.
Yes.
Member Dipple.
Yes.
Member Schmidt.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Yes.
Member Richardson.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 8.4 approval of carpenter grant. Yeah.
So this is the same thing as last year. As you know, we are relying on grants and donations to fund our early learning program, the playgroups and the preschool. So the Carpenter Foundation is the only one of those that requires board approval to even apply. So I came to you last year with the same request, and so this is again the same thing. So it's a private family foundation that serves Josephine and Jackson County. And what we're asking for is the same as last year with continued staffing costs in our request for funding, but we have to show in our minutes that the board approves that request.
You're requesting a request.
We're requesting from you that you allow us to request.
Member Schmidt moves that we approve the opportunity to request the Carpenter grant.
Member Smith seconds.
Any discussion? None.
Yes.
Wow, sure.
Yes.
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 Yes. So we're going back into open session.
Member Schmidt moves that the board investigate the complaint against Superintendent Sweeney regarding the BSU logo on the wall. And the investigation will be done by the board. Second.
Member Smith seconds.
Okay. Tanya.
Member Sable, are you there? Okay, member Dibble?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Member Dibble?
Yes.
Member Schmidt?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Richardson?
Yes.
Brownell?
Yes.
Member Wilkins?
Yes.
And now we go back into closed session.
All right. We're gonna end executive set or general session. Reconvene executive. Adjourn executive session,
We're back in the.
and we're now in general session.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
Okay, I move that the board chair respond to the complainant that the board, after reviewing the facts of the situation, determined that Superintendent Sweeney has not violated any policies or caused any harm, and we will be taking no further action.
Member Smith seconds.
I think a second, Tanya.
Member Sable? Member Dibble?
Yes.
Member Schmidt?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Member Richardson?
Yes.
Member Brownell?
Yes.
Member Wilkins?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get Nathan on the record.
Yeah, he just texted yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we done?
Saying that thing. There you go.
Meeting adjourned. I'm sorry. I saw that. You've been listening to Gary all this whole
You're still
time.
by the seniority.
I know, he just kind of oozes like parliamentarian.
Okay. So I'm going to,
We're back into open session.
is he gonna record it? Is he?
Yeah.
It's ready?